Hey everybody, this is Richard Birt from Right Path. Yes, I can see your comments. So Right Path is a company that was founded 15 months ago with the idea of basically taking big data and bringing it to small and medium-sized companies. By nature, big data we define as having powerful insights on consumers and businesses that can be leveraged towards improving marketing efficiency, allowing companies to have better understanding of their core customers, and then efficiently prospecting and generating new business through lead generation. So I come from a background very steeped in big data. 36 years ago, when I was at grad school, I helped develop what you know now as the FICO score. It was the first time that anybody in academia had access to a mainframe that could manipulate millions of records. And we had the first installed license for SAS Institute, which at the time was the first statistical program. So we were able to look at all of the credit transactions that were going on, and we were able to build a very succinct profile around credit granting, who were people that were worthy to get a credit card and who were not. As a result of that effort, many of the database companies started to collect specialty data on consumers, things like where you live, the type of house that you live in, your family composition, life stage and lifestyle. So over the last 35 years, there's literally, we track 58,000 different attributes that describe individual Americans. And from these intersections, we're able to see very clear and succinct patterns that relate to whether you'll buy a product, you'll be loyal to the category, and you're worthy of investment from a business to go after a prospect. Big data is important to businesses for a variety of reasons. One is that the traditional advertising model is broken right now. One of the problems that you have is that the advertising business has traditionally been based on surveys. What's happening relative to that space is that they would look at a media property and they would say that an intended target was a percentage of that media property. So there was always built-in waste. I always heard this analogy that 50% of advertising is wasted. When we actually look at the results measured by the inefficiency, we're seeing that many times it's up to 98%. What we're doing differently with big data and the problem that we're solving is that we're allowing businesses to directly connect to consumers that look most like their product, most like their audience. So what it does is it removes 100% of the waste that the advertising agencies have built into their process. So big data is a true disruptive technology. It's one that's going to have far-reaching aspects to clients and advertisers alike. I think it's amazing that Coca-Cola came out this week and said that artificial intelligence, not advertising talent, will define their next wave of advertising. So when you see somebody of that stature saying that that's going to be the basis of how things are bought and sold in this country, it will have a huge impact through the whole industry. So I've worked with over 500 brands around big data. The The most interesting companies that I've seen that have exploited it is that I worked with Nike. They put together their Nike Town and Nike for Women program that came out of direct research looking at transactions. That was one of the most progressive companies I saw early on. Also worked with Apple in the launch of their Macintosh products. More recently, the more innovative companies that I've worked with have been Dell, launching them out of Austin. I've worked with Ferrari. And right now I'm working with a lot of small and medium sized challenger brands. So I always get excited when we can work with companies that have an inherent competitive disadvantage and their ability to accelerate market share against their competition. Small companies can tap into this. One of the great things that's happened in our world is the cost of computing has become virtually a non-existent expense with the advent of the cloud. So our ability to take this technology and bring it down to a small company, very, very easy for us to do now. Typically, the only cost that we have is actually in the deployment of the data. So whether you want to send a Facebook ad, email, use it for any type of internal CRM matching. So the cost for us to able to support a small to medium-sized business, a lot of the barriers in the past have gone away. And that's the excitement of big data for us, is that the tools are highly automated, databases are relatively inexpensive to host. Really, it's just the definition of the problems that these companies face and gaining awareness and penetration in the marketplace. Somebody asked whether this is pricey. It really isn't. We run programs right now where the contacts are pennies per person to do outreach. And again, we use medium that's defined by velocity. So we are always looking for trigger events, text mining, areas that we can get in front of clients that we know that are in market. And then again, what we're seeing is the results pay out. We have clients that are getting double-digit open rates, double-digit click-through rates. If you're looking for advice from entrepreneurs to get in, one of the things that we always recommend is view the marketing budget much like you would look at portfolio stocks if you were going to go into the stock market. What you really want to do is that you want to have this ability to go in and define what are the success metrics that define your business. What we believe is that there are contextual terms that define people that are in market around the category. It's also segment criteria that best defines your audience. And then the third thing that we always say is that what is the customer journey on how they relate to the brand and that brand experience to get them to buy. When you have all of these three things in alignment, we see that companies can take advantage of this and rapidly grow. One of the problems that I have with a lot of startups, though, is that many of them don't have brand awareness. So you're always going to have to do a little bit of brand building to get your name out in front of the public so that they'll be adaptive. But if you look at some of the most potent brands, Snapchat, Uber, Lyft, all of these, were very quick to capture the imagination of the public. So again, I don't want to discount that startups can't be as effective as big companies because many of them are. Any more questions? So from our standpoint at RightPath, what we think are very, very critical capabilities that we're delivering in the marketplace is that we're very focused on in-market data. So one of the things that we do is that we look at text mining of ad servers and social media as the most effective way of getting in front of people. So a typical budget that we can work with is 100,000 impressions at roughly $9,000 or 9 cents an impression. We're getting double-digit open rates, double-digit response rates to this. And again, what you're doing is you're getting people that are in market. Other ways that we effectively can work with people is that if you have a geo-proximity strategy, where you're looking to intercept people that are going to competitive sites, be it, let's say, it's a car dealer network where you want to see if anybody's going out to visit lots to look at cars, or it could be a fast food or retail operation where you want to see where people are heavily trafficking these. We have mobile intercept capabilities. We have the ability to light up 90,000 mobile apps. We can see people moving between these locations, and we can effectively send an email when people reach a certain density around the category. So the question is big data intimidating? Absolutely. I have to say that I've been in it for 35 years, and very few companies actually tap into it. Our core repositories are 19 trillion. It's across 8 databases. We have also access to about 2 billion ads that are served daily in the ad serving networks. So one of the things that we try to do is to eliminate all of that and just tap into the vein of what matters, which is what is the target audience for that entrepreneur and his brand. So one of the things that we've done recently for a major company is that they only wanted to market to people that had Keurig coffee machines. So we were able to just literally isolate that in our databases, and that's the only thing that they market to. So the key for an entrepreneur is not to worry about that there's 9 trillion bits of data out there. It's to get in front of the 3 million, the 4 million people that precisely and perfectly match their target set. What's up for Right Path right now? We're having an amazing longevity for a company. We kind of look at 3 different steps as a startup, is that you want to go from pre-revenue to revenue, revenue to sustainability, and then also have an exit, which in our case is we want to take the company public. We're right now past phase 1. We did that in our first month. We've been at it for 15 months now. We're very close to reaching profitability and sustainability, and we're in the process of taking our company public. Hopefully in September. We filed for an S1 shell, and so this is something that's very, very core to what we want to do. But right now we see almost an insatiable demand by companies that are looking for a really simple thing, which is to find more business, find better quality leads, and convert more business to generate more profit. Next question. So the social monitoring and ad serving monitoring tool we have is based on trigger events. Think of triggers as 3 different things. It could be popular search terms that people use to visit websites. or things that they're looking for recommendations through their social network. So it could be simple things as hashtag moving, I'm graduating from college, I'm planning to get married in a few months. All of these things are trigger events that create a whole host of opportunities for people to purchase new products and services. So we have this ability to discreetly mine where people are mentioning these things. We use a very advanced filtering scheme. And then what we do is that when you meet the filter, we match you back to a database of 100 million opted-in emails. So all of these are legal and compliant, and we're able to then send a message on behalf of your company through this opted-in database to this end consumer, letting them know about your particular services. The biggest trends that I see in this industry is that there's a huge debate now between man and machine. And this is really, at the essence of it, what you see with IBM's Watson, the Google AI platform, Amazon's AI platform, and Microsoft's platform. Essentially what we're doing is creating statistical tools that can evaluate massive amounts of data, and they're able to kind of discern patterns or trends that suggest that you might be a probable customer. This is very scary to a lot of people because it's going to be a disruptive technology that will replace a lot of human decision scientists. But what I do believe is that the quality of the decision from a computer versus an individual person will be dictated by the application that it's trying to replace. And when I say this to you is that the promise of Watson will be is that we can find clear trends in data that suggest that we can communicate to individuals better and make them more responsive to any offers. One of the great things that I've heard about Watson is that for a brand that they work with is that as the weather changes within a city, the computer knows enough to basically recommend food recipes. So if it's snowing today in DC, they'll make recommendations for soup. If it's 100 degrees in Austin today, they might recommend a margarita. These are things that the artificial intelligence can do much, much better than humans can do within agencies or within dynamic content platforms. So to me, that's the most exciting thing that I see is the big data that we have driving dynamic conversations, all directed by a computer, leading to much deeper relationships between the brand and their core consumer and their core end prospect. Somebody asked us what is the most difficult challenge facing the acquisition of customers. I love this. One of the things that we have and that's problematic for the marketing channels now that our clients are just getting so much more sophisticated on what they're willing to engage with. And what we're seeing is that there's whole mediums that people are just abandoning en masse. And I say this to you, I don't think that I've responded to a single offer through direct mail in over 10 years. I think there's been 3 that have come to me via digital banners in the last 10 years. I mostly interact with email, and I mostly interact with Facebook postings. So I think what's happening now is that the public is getting much more sophisticated on what they're willing to accept as advertising. So one of the things that we've done is that we've tried to align our targeting platforms with everything that's associated with these newer, faster digital streams. The other thing that we believe in is that when it's all said and done, people that are self-describing in market behavior, it's a much more effective way of starting a dialogue than doing what we've always done in the past for the last 40 years, which look at marketing as a conjecture of what somebody's family composition is, income, that they're inherent to a brand. The buying public is much, much more sophisticated. It's much more fragmented around segmentation. What really counts is your ability to tap into these online behaviors more than it is on what I look like. And we're just seeing that over and over, that these are the highest conversions that we're getting, highest response rates. So from a entrepreneurial standpoint, there's some amazing AI tools that are out there that can aid the entrepreneur in better understanding their data. We belong to Azure, but we have to say that we've evaluated all the other platforms, and they're equally sophisticated and robust. The key for clients to do is recognize is that not to become awash in data, but rather wash your databases to where you have data that really matters about defining your audience. When you have these subsets of data, these data lakes, you have this ability to really tap into AI. And again, what we do is that we can augment a lot of understanding of who these consumers are so that it better informs these AI tools. Well, I hope that Mark Cuban is right and I've become a wealthy person, because I've been at big data for over 35 years now, and I really want to, hold on one second.
You have reached 949-831-8603. Leave a message.
One of the problems with doing a live broadcast is you never know when your phone will ring. I apologize for that. But anyway, long story short, I think that this will be the big thing. What you're seeing is that major advertising companies now are no longer going to rely on agencies and their recommendations. They're going to look totally, that spend is based on analytics and very deeply subscribed computer generated knowledge and insight. You look at the major investments now, Amazon is generating over $1 billion worth of advertising on their platform. This is driving Google, this is driving Facebook. It's a real industry that's worth billions and billions of dollars. So somebody asked if there's books that you can recommend to learn more about big data. To my knowledge, there's really no body of work that I've seen that's out there from a standpoint of published books. But what I can recommend is that there's a couple forums now for big data that exist within LinkedIn. These are good exchanges where people talk about specific industry practice. Find that they're very, very valuable for me around tool sets. And then within individual cities, there's now meetup events. The one in Los Angeles actually got over 1,000 decision scientists to attend. Last year it was held in Marina del Rey. So in any given city, there's a good interaction between people in the community. There's always been a shortage of talent. And so what I've always found is that best practice is really this exchange of what's working and not working between industry and brand partners. Any other questions? So we have a website, rightpath.com. If anybody would like to reach out to us, we have a contact page that merely fill it out, and we'll respond back to you within 48 hours. So that's off the website. If anybody would like to get a hold of me on a personal note, you can reach me at Richard, R-I-C-H-A-R-D, period, B-I-R-T, at RightPath, which is RYTEPATH.com. So we would more than welcome any invites for people to know more about what we do and how we might be able to help their particular brand. I think this is one of the most exciting times to be in business right now, and in particular around my own area of big data. There's a host of really good companies that are coming into the space right now. So the fact that we have access to 19 trillion records across 8 databases, every day we're getting a new and better source for data. We have data that goes over automotive, the cars that you drive, emails are a great way for us to connect into social media. We have access to over 58,000 variables that define consumer interactions with brands. So there's never been better quality data. I think it's amazing to see what Amazon has done with cloud computing, making this so affordable for small and medium-sized businesses. So your ability to host data within your environment, match it up to these outside databases, and really get true insights to drive your business. The other thing that I think which is amazing is that there's this whole generation of AI tools, largely led by IBM Watson, that are really going to transform the space. Entrepreneurship is around disruptive technology. I think this is absolutely going to be one of the most exciting trends that's going to come out in the next 10 years. And I think that from an investment standpoint, I think it's going to be one of the white-hot spaces that is going to be present for the next 10 years. It's really evolving very, very quickly. Been in the space in 35 years, and the last 3 years, it seems like the innovation has outpaced the last 33. I think that the content that needs to get out there is threefold. One is that big data will work as if companies can use it to make money. And I say that to you not in a sarcastic or in simplistic way, but many efforts have been built around building the container strategy around the company. So it's directed by IT. They put a huge amount of money building a mountain of data, but they don't really translate it to how it relates to a customer journey, how it relates to marketing interactions with that customer, and at the end of the day, how this customer interacts with the brand to bring revenue to the company. So one of the things that I think that I see that Youngry could have a huge impact in the entrepreneurial thing is to really insist upon the customer journey is at the center of big data. It's not the other way around. Big data shouldn't be the tail that wags the dog. Customer experience should be the dog that is the true dog. So one of the problems that I see is that many companies spend a lot of money on IT infrastructure, and they don't really think out the logical consequence of how to make money, how it really relates. If you knew one thing about me and one thing alone, and it led to a deeper relationship with me, and it allowed me to convert into more business for you, then you wouldn't need to have big data. You would only need to have singular data. So the whole notion of what we have is that big data only exists for mining and to get out a vein of gold. It's not that you want to basically take down the whole mountain with the pick and shovel. And this is what I'm seeing with a lot of companies right now, is that big data isn't the fact that I have 19 trillion fields. It's the fact that maybe one or two of those fields really could be leveraged to competitive advantage with the brand. Any other questions? So again, if anybody needs to reach me, it's Richard.Birt at rightpath.com. Thank you so much for allowing me to talk about RightPath and to talk about this industry that I love so much. Everybody have a good day. Oh, by the way, there's one last question. What opportunities are there in big data for government? Probably government will be the biggest user. I see it in terms of economic trend data. It obviously has intelligence community aspects. But yeah, I think that big data for government, it's going to only increase. Anyway, thank you guys very much for allowing me to be a part of this. I'm going to say goodbye. And thanks again to Vince and Vanessa and Youngry for allowing us the opportunity to speak today. Thank you.